Over the next 7 days, I'm going to speedrun the entire Irish course on Duolingo because I'll be going to Ireland in a few days. And also at the end of this video, I'm going to take a test and see how fluent I got in Irish. As of right now, I don't have the app installed on my phone yet. Look, so I'm going to install it right now. Okay, so the app is downloaded, Duolingo. There we go. Apparently there are 66 units in Irish, which means that I would have to do 10 units a day for 7 days. I don't know how doable this is, but I'm going to see if I can do 10 units right now. So right now it's 4:43. I'm going to start doing unit 1, and then hopefully it won't take me too long, but we'll see. One unit takes me about 45 minutes to complete, which is quite long, given the fact that I was planning to complete 66 units. That would mean that I would have to spend hours a day just completing lessons. This is harder than I expected. Unit 1, Unit 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 15 units in total.
Oh, hell no.
So I stopped at 17 units and I'm not sure if I'm ready, but it's time to start the journey. Also, I said 7 days because I literally had 7 days before I was planning to go to Ireland. I had to go to work, so it was impossible for me to spend hours grinding on Duolingo. And at this point, I was just so bored and frustrated by the app that I was really just looking forward to actually going to Ireland. Now here comes the interesting part. I did not plan anything for this trip. My goal was just to go there to experience life somewhere else for a few days. So day 1, because I did no prior research, there were some minor problems that I ran into right after I landed at Dublin Airport. First of all, I rented a car, but I totally forgot that the steering wheel is on the right side. And I had never in my life driven a car like this. So this really took some time to get used to, but I did, and the driving was actually one of the most fun parts, honestly. Now, what was probably most urgent on day 1 is that I still had no place to spend the night in the evening, so that's what I did first, and I eventually found a place in a small town close to the airport called Swords. Now day 2 is where the fun actually started. I still had nowhere to go, so I texted my Irish colleague to ask for recommendations, and she gave me a lot. One of the places she mentioned was a place called Donegal, which she said was the prettiest, so I decided to go there. The only thing that kind of surprised me that it was all the way in the west, and Dublin is like literally all the way in the east. That's a 3-hour drive. Now, maybe that sounds like a normal drive to you, but just for your information, I'm from the Netherlands, which is a super small country, so even a 1-hour drive, to me, feels like it takes a significant portion of my day. I think I crossed the border to Northern Ireland, which is apparently part of UK, whereas Ireland isn't. So eventually I arrived in Donegal and I found a small store, literally called the Donegal shop. And I talked to the owner, and when he saw me, he immediately started talking to me as if he'd known me his whole life. Like, he was super friendly. There were a few moments though where I didn't really understand what he said because of his thick accent, but he was very friendly. He was like super friendly guy. I remember he told me his name in Irish. I don't know what it was though, I forgot. And in English it was George.
Well, I have no customer to go home. And so I only come in here for a bit of crack and meeting nice.
Anyway, I bought a few souvenirs. I actually came in to buy a keychain, but I couldn't pay by card. He told me I had to spend at least 10 euros. So he told me I should buy a beanie because it's cold. And then I also bought a magnet. And eventually George also gave me some recommendations in Donegal. One of them being Donegal Castle or Caslan. I remember that word thanks to Duolingo. This place had some interesting history that honestly I mostly forgot, but I noticed that it was also pretty quiet. There were like 2 other groups of people there. Now, after looking around for a few minutes, I explored the rest of the town. I just walked around, and then eventually I walked back to my car to store my souvenirs, to put them away. But before going to bed, I wanted to check out another one of George's recommendations, the Real Inn. Because when you think of Ireland, what comes to mind is sheep, hills, pubs, and Guinness, right? Well, funnily enough, when my brother saw that I was in Ireland, his first reaction was, "You should try a Guinness." Now, I'm not someone who really drinks a lot, but I figured I cannot go to Ireland and not try a Guinness, right? Well, this place, the Real Inn, was an Irish pub. It served Guinness, and there was live music 7 days a week, so it basically had everything I was looking for. Now, when I entered this pub in the evening, I found a table with a single guy sitting at it. He was an older guy, and he seemed to know a bunch of people because almost every time someone came in, they would see him and then walk to him and shake his hand. So I ordered the Guinness, and after a few minutes, another man joined our table. Now, this man was probably like in his 40s, and after I told him it was my first time in Ireland and trying a Guinness, he asked me if I liked it, and I told him I did. So he then offered me to buy me another one, but I politely refused. I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. Then finally a third person joined our table. Now, he looked about the same age as me, and when he came into the pub, he already looked kind of drunk, which was funny. We talked for a bit, and I found out his name was Gavin. I also told him that it was my first time here and my first time drinking a Guinness, and after a while he left, and only to come back a few minutes later, literally putting a Guinness on my table.
Oh, thanks.
He literally just bought it for me. I didn't even ask him, and he didn't even ask me. He was such a nice dude. So the plan for the following day was to go even further to the west, because apparently Ireland has some of the highest cliffs in Europe, according to the internet at least. And also online, these cliffs look really beautiful, but when I was going there, it had been raining the whole day, so my experience was very different. There is literally no one here on the parking lot. There's no one. Just one bus, one car. And the red went. Honestly, I thought it was closed or something. But I still went inside, I bought a ticket, and then entered a small bus where I had a nice conversation with the bus driver.
Do you speak Irish, or is it because
No,
normally
not,
people
no.
just speak English?
No, it's the majority of the.
When we got to our destination, he gave me like 30 minutes to look around and climb up the mountain. He also told me to look out for a few cliffs, because they looked like a chair and a table or something. And the climb wasn't too bad actually, but the weather, man, as I was walking up the mountain, I was literally going into the clouds. It was just constant rain on my face, combined with this very strong wind. Kind of reminded me of the weather back in my country, in the Netherlands. Anyway, I followed the path until I reached what looked like the highest points, and I took some pictures, some videos. And even all the way up here, there were just like random sheep or goats. I don't remember honestly. So after like 30 minutes, I went back down, and on the way back to the visitor center, the bus driver told me that people actually got stuck up there once, and he eventually had to go back up and found them after more than 24 hours, I think. But when it's super cloudy, like when I was there, it's so easy to get lost, because you literally can't see anything except your feet on the ground when you look down, because it's just so cloudy. So I just got back into my car, checked out the fireplace at the Rusty Mackerel. It was so cozy in there, and I didn't know where else to go really. I decided to just head back to Dublin, because tomorrow I had to go back home. Now, despite the shitty weather and the amount of hours I spent in this car, the driving was actually really chill. I was pretty early at the airport, so I had enough time to finish a book that I brought with me. What was distracting me was the television in the room. There was some kind of Irish debate on the television about electricity or energy or whatever, and it was distracting because I was like unintentionally listening to it. And then all of a sudden, this politician who was talking on the TV about whatever she was talking about in English, she just switched to Irish, like all of a sudden, and my brain just went like,
Wait, what?
like maybe it's just me, but I find it so interesting how she just switches languages like that. Like in this country, it feels like everyone has this ability to speak Irish, but they just don't do it or something. So every time someone does speak it, it just catches me off guard or something, I don't know. I have a test right here. I found two tests. This simple Irish proficiency test and another one right here. I have no idea what level this is. I think this is just like a general test, but to be honest, I only did what, 21 units on Duolingo, and I've been to Ireland. I don't think I can do A2. I really think I can only do A1. Even looking at this, I can already tell this is gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So let's see, we have grammar, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. Okay, this isn't, yeah, reading comprehension is not gonna be relevant, I think. I literally just know a couple of words. I know some words and some phrases, and not even grammar. Like, but we'll see. Okay, see, like, the only words here that I know is, I think this is like she, right? As like a subject, and then go as like for, I think, for, she, for. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it's probably one of these, if I were to guess. But guessing is... This is why I don't like tests, especially language tests. Like, why? Guessing, it's... What's the point if you're guessing? Like, language is not a multiple choice thing, right? Whatever. I'm just gonna pick one, I guess. Just pick one. This sounds familiar. This one right here. Is far. Pronunciation. Liam. So Liam is a boy. Look at this. 47%. This is nice. That's almost half.